Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to Josh's Boxes. My name is Josh. Today I've got a whiteboard in front of me because I want to be doing some brainstorming. In this episode of Hobby Hedge, I've drawn in the past. I've done I built Legos in the past, and for this one I wanted to do some world building. It's been a while since I've done an RPG related video, and so I kind of want to just make this video and see what I can get done. I don't expect to be interacting with the chat very much because people don't watch these live streams, but I just wanted to share my kind of behind the scenes creative process and stop trying to make everything perfect and just make a video. So I figure out Hobby Hedge is a good way to do that because it's chill and low key. And this is special because the world building I'm going to be doing is for a solo game that I want to start here on the channel. It will feature the character that I made for character comparisons, Aerolith Dawnwind, as the main character. I have thought about doing a solo game for a while. I never thought about sharing it on YouTube, but I found the RPG channel TTRP Jared, who posts all of his solo RPG stuff, his journey and adventure on YouTube, and I thought that was super cool. I was super inspired by him, so I just figured I'd give it a shot. So in this live stream, I intend to do some preliminary world building, nothing crazy, just kind of setting the scene. Hopefully my chair doesn't squeak too much. Setting the scene for the start of this solo adventure that I want to go on with role-playing games. I'm planning on doing 5e, D&D 5e, not 5.5, because 5e is the one that I know the best. It's the RPG I've played the most. I have I have a million books for it, so if I ever run out of content from one book, I can always go to another book. And I feel like, although my character comparison series was pretty short, that of the ones that I did, I felt like D&D captured the idea of Aerolith well enough. And so, yeah, I've got this whiteboard because I just want to kind of make a rough plan and not put anything to paper, so it's easy to erase. Speaking of which, I should grab my eraser, which is just a rag. So I'm thinking that Aerolith is from a forest. So I just kind of make a map, basic map. So Aerolith is from a forest called Grimthorn Forest. Grimthorn Forest. He lived there pretty much his whole life. Way early in his childhood, he lived with the wood elves in whatever forest the wood elves live. But that one's going to be far away. Maybe, I don't know, I'll put it up here at the top right. But kind of going off the map. Wood elf lands. So he was born here in this forest with the other wood elves. He was part of a clan, but his father did something to get them disgraced. His mother left him and took the sister. So him and his father had to kind of migrate and live here in this Grimthorn Forest, which doesn't have wood elves in it because it's full of dangerous monsters. It's got a whole section that's overrun by spiders. I would suspect there's a lot of bandits and maybe a cult or a dark wizard or something in here. So this is a place that you don't really want to to live in or to spend some time. But they live there because they're wood elves. They're used to the forest, but they couldn't be in the wood elf forest. And they made their journey, or they made their money, their lifestyle, Aerolith and his dad, by guiding adventurers through the Grimthorn Forest. And so I want there's got to be some sort of reason why you go through the forest rather than just around it. In order to get to adventure specifically. So I imagine that maybe there's like a big mountain range, like right here, kind of going off this way. Yeah, we can say that there's a mountain range. And maybe there's like something like up here in this area that would draw adventurers towards it. Some like ancient dungeon or ruins or something. I don't know. What I do know is there is a town to the south, or just like on the edge of Grimthorn, called Fernstead, because it's right next to the forest, so they can grow as many, like it's like a joke that they can grow ferns just as well as they can, potatoes or corn or whatever they're growing at Fernstead. So it's just a tiny little like village basically here on the edge of Grimthorn. This is where Kenna Redmane is from, which is Aerolith's like betrothed, his love interest. The reason why he's adventuring is because his Kenna's dad thinks that Aerolith is a bum because he lives in this dangerous forest, and he has to prove that he can support a family, and so he wants Aerolith to go out and like adventure and get enough money to like buy a nice piece of land, settle down, build a nice house, live comfortably, that sort of thing. So he's got to earn a bunch of money. So Fernstead is like an important part of Aerolith's backstory because they would like this is where they get all their supplies. They would live mostly in the forest, but they'd come here for supplies and to like guide adventurers through. So maybe there's like some other town that like people stop here at Fernstead and then they want to be guided to this other town. I don't know. And it's like a dark forest full of monsters, and so there's no like set trail, and the normal road, maybe there should be something up here too. I don't want to put like a forest or something right there. So I don't know, there's some sort of obstacle. Right here. Maybe, maybe it's like political borders. So that way I don't have to draw another mountain range. Maybe, I think that's an interesting idea that there's like the other kingdom's territory is right here. And maybe it even like extends here, and the Wood Elves would be part of a different territory. So you could, take, maybe there's like a town right here, but in order to go around the forest, you'd have to be crossing into this enemy or this hostile kingdom. And so it's easier to, like, adventurers or people who don't mind, like, risking being in here, because maybe, like, this section, maybe this is all ruins, like, it used to be all one big part of an empire, but this is ruins, and, enemy kingdom. Like this is kind of their borderlands, so if they catch you trying to go through their lands to get to this other town or to explore the ruins, they'll imprison you or kill you or whatever. So it's actually, like, for adventurers who want to risk it, it's safer to sneak through the woods with a guide than it is to try and pass through this enemy territory, because maybe there's like a fort. Maybe there's a fort right there. I don't have to figure out everything about this area right now. I imagine that this is like lots of like grassland. With like, you know, village over here, maybe like a mountain village down here. And maybe the river. There's like a river that flows out of this mountain that kind of snakes through the land, headed towards the ocean. So I want to start the game. I want Airlift to have a direction that he's going to go be an adventurer and make money. He wants to find an adventuring party, follow them to an adventure, and get rich by adventuring. That's how he intends to support his family. He could cut through the Grimthorn Forest, which he knows super well, and head to these ruined lands. He could head there, but I like the idea that he's headed somewhere else, because like he would be exploring through here initially, and he like I want him to start off on his own, and if he was like going through here, he'd probably go with his dad. It wouldn't be that challenging for him. And so I don't love the idea of him starting out in the Grimthorn Forest, just because he knows it so well. It might be a little trivial for an adventurer. But I don't really know what kind of place I want him to be adventuring in. Maybe they always led people here to this town, and he'd be like, you know, headed more. There's like a dungeon discovered over here. Yeah, I'm not sure right now. Let's have. I feel like we gotta have another river right here. There's an enemy kingdom with a big enemy fortress. Maybe not right on the edge. Maybe it's like more over here, but that's fine. Actually, it's a simple drawing. I can redo it. Man, that's awful. What a terrible square. Terrible rectangle. Anyways. What? I wonder if figuring out what makes this place ruined would help out. So part of the world building is I've got a book called Be a Better Campaign Master. Book 1, Building the World. It's by Absolute Tabletop. Super, super awesome, really helpful book for developing like a world, an adventuring world. So I've got that open, and I'm gonna head to forests, see if I can get a prompt for, because it's got a bunch of prompts. See if I can get a prompt for a forest. See if that drums up some ideas, or and if not, we'll head to like desert maybe. We'll see. 90. I got a 90. 90 in the forest features table. This beautiful forest experiences frequent and chaotic tempests. Interesting. Interesting. This is not. It's called Grimthorn. I doubt it's a beautiful forest. It's kind of a dumpy backwater place. I rolled a 9. The trees in this forest are filled with musical sap, and the birds tap the trees. Many bards. Oh, sorry. Many bards tap the trees. That's pretty whimsical. I'm looking for something a little more dark and gritty here. Many of its trees are illusions. Let's see. The trees are scorching hot, and their stone-like bark is grooved with tribal designs, flowing with glowing molten substance. Okay. I know that there's an adventuring section, like an adventure locations section. Let's see if I can get anything cool from that. Okay, there's a fortress one. Maybe I can get something interesting from this, for the enemy kingdom's fortress. 25 is wooden palisade surrounds encampment, from taking it from the local ogre clans. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Maybe. Okay, so maybe this isn't an enemy kingdom, but this is like borderlands that is ogre territory. And there's a fortress here that there's like yeah, so maybe you got this fortress that's part of the kingdom still. Man, my pen is dying. So maybe this whole area, why people don't go around it, is this whole area is ogre territory. Heck, that's sick. I think that's super rad. And then this is anti-ogre fort. That's cool. I like that. Let's see if we can get something about these ruins. Ruin lands. Because it's like a whole area that's ruined. 85. 85 is the shrine to a dark god was demolished by the forces of good, but its pieces and some of its power remain. Interesting. Interesting. So maybe it's like the remnants of a cursed, maybe not a whole empire, because the land is like pretty, it's not a huge swath of land, but maybe like a cursed county or a region, a cursed region that had was led by some sort of like dark magic people that swept in and and got like wiped out, but there's like tiny pockets of remnants in the Grimthorn, and that's what makes this forest so dangerous. Is it's got like that residual influence of these this like cursed region. That's pretty sweet. Yeah. And it would explain why humanity has a fortress, or why this, maybe it's not humanity, maybe whatever kingdom this is. I would assume it's a mostly human kingdom. But I don't know. Maybe we'll find something else. Let's check out, let me see if I can get like a specific location within these ruins. 18. This military outpost was burned to the ground, only a charred shadow of its former glory. Interesting. So maybe what I'm getting here is that this fort was like the bastion of the forces of good. They all gathered here at this fort and then struck out, burned, like destroyed this place, rooted out the cursed region. There's like some pockets of Grimthorn that got in here that still remain, but this fort like was left weakened after that battle with the cursed region, and when ogres came in, and maybe they were even from the cursed region or they came from somewhere else, the ogres came in and kind of destroyed this fortress, because it was weakened from the battle, and they were like, well, we don't, the kingdom didn't send reinforcements because they're like, well, we only need this fortress to like strike out here, and so it's okay if we let it just kind of dwindle. Maybe it's not like 100% destroyed, but maybe it's dwindling. The ogres are really giving it a hard time, and they kind of stomp all over it. Don't take it very seriously. Can we get a dungeon? I don't know if we can get a dungeon. See, crypts, tombs, and dungeons. 27 is... This tomb is the front for a black market fence who buys and sells questionable goods. Interesting. Maybe... Okay, an idea. This town is called Honor Grave. Because I just thought of that and it's cool. This is where all the big heroes that died in this battle were buried. And so it's like a religious kind of place. Built to like honor the heroes, and it's like a bastion of good. And maybe a lot of adventurers come here. They avoid the ogres and come through here to get like blessings from this religious organization, and like they bring back cursed relics and stuff from this area to be destroyed, and then this religious organization here in Honor Grave pays them to do that, to find and destroy like evil artifacts. But there's like some sort of black market that sprung up where it's being sold instead. And so there's like a dark underbelly of Honor Grave. Maybe. With dark underbelly. I'm going pretty big picture here. I want to zoom in and figure out where Aerolith is going. Where is Aerolith going? He just wants to find an adventuring party and go do an adventure. I don't know, maybe the Grimthorn Forest, a place he's already familiar with, is a good like level 1 location. Because I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't find a party at all until he's like level 2 or 3. I don't know. So maybe he wanders through Grimthorn on his way to Honor Grave to participate in these excursions into the cursed region. To bring back artifacts and stuff. Or to just, get gold and wealth from this region. I want to explore ideas before like about going to other regions that aren't necessarily this cursed region first. Like maybe I don't know what's over here at all. My gut goes swamp. Maybe there's like a swamp over here. Although if this side, I'm thinking about rain shadow. I want it to be a little bit realistic. Maybe the ocean is over here. I'm not gonna get worried about freaking rain shadow right now. That's too much. That's too much. Let me keep looking in this. This PDF for ideas. Nations, factions, and empires. There's a theocracy table that you can roll on for adventure things related to theocracies, and since there's a big religious place right there, that'd be interesting. In an enormous holy house known as the Sacred Kiln, this fire-worshipping theocracy has a fragile alliance with fire elementals of all shapes and sizes. Honor glaive. Did they use fire to cleanse this area? Is it like the followers of a fire god? Maybe. Cleansed with fire? Who knows? Okay, so Aerolith, his goal is he wants to find an adventuring party. From what we've built right now, we've got a couple, like this is probably the most likely place for him to find an adventuring party. It would have a lot of paladins and clerics and stuff there. But he's not really looking for like a holy mission. He's looking to make money. He's looking to make some money. And adventurers make money by either, like I could see him going to a city and just finding odd jobs at a city, but there's lots, like a big city, these would all be like towns and villages, but a big city might have opportunities. So maybe he heads to the coast, has to cross these mountains and head this way to the coast. To find a port city, because that would have, a lot of opportunity there. He could have ocean adventures and stuff like that. Or, he's like doing classic, like headed to some place to do dungeon delves, OSR style, where he's trying to make money going into ancient places, which is like kind of here, trying to find ancient artifacts to sell, or just like random gold and rubies and treasure and stuff. Because that's what he wants. He wants treasure. Or he could, hunt some beastie. He could hit this way and maybe take up a mantle of like hunting ogres, going with a party that hunts ogres to try and like claim the bounty on them, clear them out of the area. Maybe that's like this place just, they don't send out their own soldiers anymore. They just keep enough soldiers to protect themselves from like an ogre attack on the fort. But otherwise they're like, oh yeah, we'll pay you if you can take out the ogres, but we're not gonna do it. So maybe that's like potential place he would go. Number 1, number 2, number 3. Honestly, just adventuring around his home of Grimthorn, like trying to, clear out the remnants of this ancient, like this cursed land, wouldn't provide him a lot of gold. That'd be more like a destroy evil, altruism kind of adventure, which he's not opposed to, but it has to pay good. He need that money. Need that money. Let's see. I need to roll on some tables, get some ideas going. Maybe I'm gonna roll on the mountains table because we've got this big mountain range here. So maybe I'll roll on the mountains table to see if I can get anything juicy from the mountains. 72. 72 is a concealed peak shrouded constantly by clouds. Maybe. 98. A single jagged mountain that towers from within a large body of water. That's an interesting idea. But I'll try one more. 76. Numerous jagged peaks, not considered tall, but covered with thick moss. Okay. These are like interesting locations, but maybe not like adventure prompting. Let's try rivers. There's rivers here. 37. A river that runs into an underground system of caves. Interesting. Possibly. I'll try rolling again. 23. The river is oddly angular and geometric. With perfectly straight lines. Doesn't fit what we drew. The longest river in the realm. It touches every region of this landmass in some way. Nah. There's like cities and stuff. Maybe cities and settlements. Maybe I can get some prompts from some cities. Mountain town. Okay, there's a generator for mountain towns. Maybe I can get something from there. From this city right here. 12. This small town is built with the shattered head of a monument that was carved out of this mountain. Okay. Let's try forest and jungle towns. Sitting on the edge of the prominent forest, yeah, this borderline town is known for its adventurers guild and questing opportunities. I mean, that's true. That's true. It could be true for either, honestly, any three of these. I could see them. Probably more likely this one would have the Adventurers Guild. This is like a farming place. It's got a general store, but it's like a modest small town. And the only ones who go there are the ones who are trying to, like, coming from the south up and trying to cut through the forest. So not too many people do that. That would mostly be adventurers headed here. Maybe there's an adventurers guild there. I'll toy with that idea. Let's see. Desert towns. Maybe the cursed region is like kind of deserty now because it got burned. This desert city is often collateral damage in a war against opposing desert-dwelling ape men. Interesting. Opposing. So the desert city is collateral damage. I like that idea. I mean, this whole region is collateral damage from the war. Coastal towns. Magma slowly dribbles from a volcano into the coastal water of the town. The steam can be seen for miles. Polar towns, grassland towns. That's what most of these are, grassland towns. 14. This hamlet is known for the best grass-fed livestock in the region, and though small, is powerfully protected. Interesting. He goes to... I could have Airlift go to some town to be like a cattle herder that he gets pulled into adventure later. But there's like a cities option as well. I'm going to roll on cities. So under forest cities, option 16 says this forest city houses one of the region's most deadly vigilante groups who react violently to all who do not adhere to their ways. Interesting. Okay, here's an idea. So maybe Honor Grave, because of the dark underbelly, the religious organization that runs this place, these fire priests are really kind of militant with their adherence to like purity and stuff like that. And so if you break the rules in the town, especially, then you get harshly punished as like kind of a counter response to this dark underbelly that's trying to sell dark artifacts. So that would make people probably want to avoid Honor Grave. They're like, why would they cut through the forest to go there? Unless it's possible that they were guiding pilgrims to this area rather than like adventurers. It's possible that Airlith was guiding pilgrims and stuff to this area, and since there's ogres over here, he can lead them through the Grimthorn Forest. Maybe. But then that he wouldn't want to go there then. So that's... I do like the idea of this, like, wanting to go to a cursed region, though. Because, like, then I can just generate some dungeons and stuff like that he could go to. Man, this is really scratching my brain. But that gave me some fodder. Let's see what I can get for mountain cities. 15. This mountain city is known for its delicious cured meat, exotic and delicious. It's harvested from the hard-to-capture creatures that dwell in the mountains. Cool idea, not what I'm looking for right now. Let's try desert cities, perhaps. Another 15. This desert city is known for its undefeatable army, who fight for anyone with enough coin. Interesting. So maybe this is like a whole region that was burned down. Um, and like Honorgate was responsible, like this army, you know, it would be the whole kingdom, I guess, is responsible, but they or like this religious organization is responsible, but like they don't control the whole area. They just kind of have this remnant outpost right here. I wonder if we can flesh out this ogre idea and see if that's helpful at all. So I've also got Mythic GM Emulator. Excuse me. Meaning tables. So I guess the question is, so I'm going to use these tables to see if I can figure out why the ogres are gone. Maybe that'll give me something. Why are the ogres here? Like, it sounds like they got here recently. How did they get there? Actions 36 is distrust. And second one, people. Distrust people. I could see why ogres would distrust people. Maybe distrust people. What do they distrust about people? Maybe this was always ogre territory. The ogres are native to this area. When this cursed region was destroyed, people started to try and move in here. The ogres distrusted them and attacked them to try and like, hey, stay out of our land. And now there's like a full-blown like war going on here where the kingdom is trying to actively fight against ogres here. One, so they can take their territory, and two is like retaliation for when the ogres attacked them. Maybe. Or maybe the people distrust the ogres and believe that maybe ogres are from this region and people think that they're evil when they were just used as, they were just like native inhabitants or like servants or whatever to whatever power was here. Man, this is getting really intricate. This is what I was trying to avoid. I just want to know the next adventure location that Aerolith is headed to. That's all I want to know. I just want to figure out where he's headed. So these are cool ideas, but I need to just narrow in. I'm going to roll on the coastal cities to see if that gives me anything cool. 18. This coastal city is built within the hollow-out shell of a colossal turtle. I need some adventure prompts. I need some adventuring locations. Let's roll. Let's roll on Fortress. 80. This castle has 3 consecutive gates. Attackers that break through one are immediately trapped. Again, behind another. If we go to ruins, 50. An earthquake claimed this once mighty old mountainside kingdom built by the dwarves. Interesting. Okay, maybe a recent earthquake made it so that, maybe there was like a dwarf place up here. That suffered an earthquake, and the dwarves have like abandoned it. This is kind of Hobbit-esque, but they've like abandoned it, or they're, and so there's like all this dwarf stuff that's up for the taking. He would like travel, up the river and then to the mountains to get there, or, or the dwarves are trying to reclaim it actively and they need help. And they're willing to pay pretty handsomely for anyone who is willing to go and help them rebuild and clear out. Maybe. I that's more the direction I'm looking for. Is like a place that Aerolith can actually go that has adventure opportunities. 40 says this magically floating town was brought crashing to the ground in a catastrophe. 35, this canal city is mostly sunken in the water it once rested upon. What about caverns? We haven't rolled on caverns at all. Let's see if we can get anything out of caverns. 35 says travelers come from far and wide to see the beautiful formations inside this large system of caverns. If only they knew the warlike Hobgoblin tribe residing in the deep. Crypts, tombs, and dungeons. Let's check that out. 80. This crypt is the capital city of its nation, and it is a tourist attraction. I mean, that's kind of this. Okay. This region was cleansed with fire, but they're trying to rebuild and like colonize it again, but with not evil people. But there's still like the war ended and the great like empire or organization that was here was destroyed, but there's like probably still pockets that like where the people want to live needs to be cleansed from monsters and stuff like that. And so people hire adventurers to come over and help them out with that. So like there's like a pilgrimage area here, but then maybe there's like burgeoning borderland towns over here. And that could create some conflict because Aerolith doesn't want to get too close because the Wood Elves don't like him. They want him to stay the heck away. And like maybe the ogres moved in, first after this all happened, or they're again native here. And they're like not wanting to share their land with people. And that would kind of make that whole location up here. Okay, so maybe he does just have to like supply in Fernstead and then head off through the Grimthorn, which he knows really well. It would make sense that Aerolith would want to go where he already knows. So, travel through the Grimthorn and then head here, meet an adventuring party in Honorgrave, and then head in somewhere in this cursed region to find some settlement that's willing to hire people to or some colony that wants to like, hey, we found this location, we want to move in there, but it's full of cockatrices or beholders or something, and so they gotta send in the party to clear that place out. I like that. I've kind of been dancing around it that whole time, but I kind of have some interesting other ideas for if I finish that. So I don't think that this was all a waste. Just some interesting ideas. But yeah, I danced around it for a long time, but I guess I'm just going to start Aerolith in Fernstead, have him travel through Grimthorn, and then head to this cursed region. And it sounds like my son's awake. So I'll come up with the name for this region, make an actual map for this place. Hey, someone is watching. Hi, whoever is watching. I'm just wrapping up. But I made this whole thing. I world built all this for an upcoming solo game. Oh, they're not watching anymore. Never mind. Goodbye. Anyways, my son is awake. I'll make like a full map of this, and then I will like probably make a video about it that kind of kicks off this whole solo series. So thanks so much for watching. Most of you are watching this after the fact, obviously, and so if you made it 51 minutes in, hopefully this wasn't too boring to watch me sit here and world build. I had fun, but I need to go take care of my son. So until next time, ciao.